Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're continuing on the podcast series of talking about container sites and Beverley. Basically, Beverley is a great site. It makes, I hate saying this, tons of money, but don't compete with me, by the way, in Beverley. It's saturated. There's no place to open anyway, so there's nowhere to open. Anyway, so I get this question a lot. How much do you charge at Beverley to make such good profit from a small site? So I'm going to answer that question. It's not how much, how it's how do the way to look at this is how do I get to charge so much? And there's three different reasons that I thought about, and I thought, do you know what? There is method behind it, and there's reasons behind it, and we're going to talk to you about three different ways today on how Beverley does so well and how I can charge so much. And I'm going to get straight into it because in other episodes I've been babbling on, and I say the same point about 4 or 5 times. So I'm going to try and keep this succinct, if that's the right word, and keep it about 5 minutes long. So if you haven't already done so, head on over to mrselfstorage.com, mrselfstorage.com, daily newsletter. I tell you all my results, tell you everything, tell you revenue, conversions, everything. So yeah, head on over there and yeah, it's awesome. Right, so three main reasons, and I'm going to go into the reasons why. So in Beverley, we're the most expensive. We don't play the price war. We charge what we're worth. We charge like 65 quid a week for a container, I think, including insurance or something like that. I actually don't know. Somebody messaged me the other day on LinkedIn and said, "How much is it for a container?" I'm like, I don't know. I ain't got a clue. All I look at, I don't set the prices anymore. We have dynamic pricing system when anyway, I don't set them anymore. So I actually know. I don't know what we charge. But I think it's around about 65 quid we charge at Beverley for a container, which is mental because in other locations we charge like 30 quid. But how do we charge so much at Beverley? I'll tell you. Oh, how do we make so much? Because I think we've got like 7,500 square foot let at the minute, and we're taking we at the minute a container site £30 per square foot. That's mental. So we're taking like £225,000 a year at Beverley, and it's like a third of an acre. It's crazy, but we do this for three main reasons. Number one, revenue management. We have got revenue management on point, and I know I get grief all the time, Aunt Heb, when I talk about revenue management. But ultimately, if you want to make money, you've got to look at look at what the big boys do, and ultimately copy. People don't like the word copy. Model, model what they do. Revenue management is big. Insurance. People don't charge insurance still. You're crazy. You've got to charge insurance. But you also, and I learned this years and years and years and years ago from going into another self-storage site, and it was Storage King in Doncaster. Was it Storage King? I think it was Storage King. Was it Ready Steady Store? Anyway, I went in there and she told me that I did a fake quote and stuff because I wanted to learn how they did it. That's what my enjoyment used to be going around different storage yards and speaking to people who work there. But I'm a little bit more known now, and so going into other self storage and doing quotes and stuff is a little bit more difficult. But yeah, obviously I'm not saying I'm famous for anything that's stupid. Shut up, Dean, stop talking. And she was like, right, there's a minimum insurance. I was like, minimum insurance? What do you mean minimum insurance? She said, oh yeah, for a 50 square foot unit, you've got to take £4,000 insurance or whatever it was. I was like, tell me about this minimum insurance. I was like, I can't lie. I own a self storage in Beverley. No competition of yourself. Can you just run me through this minimum insurance? And it changed my life, genuinely. And so on the way back home, I was with my dad, and I was like, Dad, if we charge minimum insurance, this is how much we make. Oh my God, this has been like a £30,000 a year ride out for me. And so minimum insurance, we have a minimum insurance. I think it's £10,000 now for a 20-foot container. And so you advertise your self-storage costs at this price, but then you tell them that there's insurance on top because ultimately we're not the bait and switch model. It's not that. We don't. I know some people. I went on a sales course that the SSA put on many years ago, and the guy recommended, and I don't like this at all. He recommended that you don't tell people about insurance until they're sat down in front of you. And I was like, no, I don't like that because then you're like putting pressure on them, saying, "Oh, sign this contract here, and by the way, there's insurance on your unit that we haven't told you about before, but you've got to pay it." I was like, that sucks. I don't like that model at all. By the way, he hasn't done a sales course again with him. But I don't obviously think it was for that reason. And by the way, if you do that, that's up to you. It's just not ethically what I don't even know if ethically. I just don't like it. I just don't. I think you want to tell everybody the cost. You don't want to surprise them with a hidden cost. No, so no hidden cost for me. We do tell you that with your quote, there is insurance and the minimum amount is this. Because by the way, insurance, yes, it's a great little earner for us, but it's also good for the customer because if you've got Ferrari, you wouldn't not insure your Ferrari, would you? And so it's a win-win-win for everybody. And so revenue management is number one, minimum insurance amounts, and definitely charge insurance. And number three, so one, revenue management, two, minimum insurance. Number three is not copying your competition when the lower prices. We had a competitor open, actually my landlord, and when yeah, I've gone through this, and I know he listens to the podcast. Hello, Mr. Landlord, and and I don't know if he listens to every episode, but I definitely know he listens. And well, yeah, he told me he listened. um, and he opened up, and he was charging like £30, and we was charging 65. I was like, or was it 25? Anyway, it was ridiculously low, and I was like, and James was like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I'm like, right, our units are better. We're in a better location. Our units are better. And so don't, if you outposition somebody and your units are better, it's not like for like. Don't compete on price. You don't have to compete on price. I said, James, I said, worst case scenario, he'll fill up, and then when he's full, then we can mop up the rest. But it, and what I did was I did actually say I put a message on here. Because I knew he listened to the podcast. I was like, my competition are making a big mistake. If you're just a little bit cheaper than me, then you still make more money. So anyway, listen to the podcast, and he upped his price. So I was like, James, he listened, and so he upped the price. So basically, our security is better, our units are better, our facility is better, our location is better, and so why would I compete on price with them? So if you're better or differentiate yourself in some way, shape, or form, which you definitely do, because your location is different to theirs, then don't compete on price. It's a race to the bottom. If I started lowering my prices just because he did, then I'd be getting lower, he'd be getting lower, and instead I held my prices, and he gradually came up to my prices, and now he's full. I don't even know if there's any different in price anymore. He's making bank, I'm making bank, everybody's happy. And so don't compete on price. So that is how, but I'm just saying, if I got, yeah, why would I compete on price? We're far superior to anyone in the market. So if we believe it, our customers believe it as well. So don't go down on price. So revenue management, get your revenue management on point. And inside my course, we talk about revenue management, minimum insurance, have a minimum insurance, every single unit size. So if it's a 35 square foot, have like a 4,000, 5,000 minimum insurance. Nobody very rarely complains, and don't copy your competition. That is how we do so well at Beverley. And our current prices, by the way, if anybody wants to know, 35 square foot is £38 a week. This is including that. 50 square foot is £44 a week. A 75 square foot is £50 a week. 80 square foot is £52 a week. 160 square foot upstairs. Oh yeah, upstairs is £46 a week. This is not including insurance, by the way. 160 square foot on the ground floor is £65 a week, not including insurance. Bizarre, bonkers. I can't believe that we can charge that much money. And we've got one 200 square foot unit, and that it used to be a shredder. I copied my competition, and they was shredding. So I thought when we first opened, I'll shred. What a flipping mistake that was. Ugh. And so that's a 200 square foot unit, reinforced and everything. Ugh. High security, because I thought I was gonna be shredding secret documents or something. I don't know. And that's £101 a week as well. Don't know why 101, why not 100, but yeah. So there's my prices. All right, my friends, I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll be talking. What we got some tomorrow? Oh yeah, I'm going to talk to you about my revenue in the last 8 years at Beverley, and how much it's improved, because I've improved as a business owner. And yeah, it's fascinating. Right. All right, my friends, I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you on tomorrow's episode. See you soon. Bye.